there's a bunch of different ways to capture business through social media. One way is branding ourselves, making it a point, whether on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, right? Pick your social media of choice, or all of them, in my opinion, all of them. And every day, build a habit of providing value, being human on social media, right? If you're constantly like, look at me, I'm a real estate agent. Look at me, I'm a real estate agent. Look at this house. You're going to tune a lot of people out, and you're actually not, it's going to backfire, and you're not going to get business you want. People do business with people they know, they trust, and they like, and they relate to, right? Today's class, welcome. Hi, my name is Alana. Some of you have not met me. I am the coach here. We're going to hone in on how to build social media ads to capture business. I'm going to show you it through command. If you're not using command, you're using something different, there are ways to do it in other platforms. We're just seeing that agents are getting much better results using command.
Hey, Lana,
Yes.
it's Jody.
Hey, Jody.
Do you recommend doing like a separate Facebook page for just our realtor business?
Yeah, that's a great question. Before we dive in, I'm going to actually answer that. I love that. To answer your question, the answer is yes. Branding wise, your personal Facebook page that you use, not your business page, is where you build your brand and build your business and find business organically. However, when we talk about social media ads that we're going to run, which is what we're talking about today, you do need a separate business page on Facebook. And as a real estate agent, I highly recommend having a separate social media, separate Facebook page for your business. That's a whole other class. In September, we'll be doing a class on that and what that looks like and different ways to build it. And I will tell you, one of the greatest ways to get a business page started is literally just to sit down and start it, even if you have nothing on it, right? Because you can run social media ads, is what I'm going to show you today, with just a shell of a business page. You don't need all this content. And to build content, a great way to do that is stalk some other real estate agents on Facebook, see what they're doing, and see if you were a buyer, if you were a seller, if you were a friend, would you want to see this? Does it help you? Does it provide value? Right? Everything we do needs to be coming from value and from contribution. And that's really what, how we capture more business. So short answer, yes, Facebook business page necessary. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into how to make a social media ad through command. So everybody can see the page, right? So when you're in command, you're going to have a whole lot of what we call applets on the left-hand side. Okay. The very first thing you need to make sure you do is make sure that your settings, okay, so up in the top, I'm clicking on settings. So you want to make sure that your settings has Facebook connected. So you have to first connect your Facebook to the account for this to work. Okay, that is step one. It takes about a minute or two to do it, not even, but you can't create what we're about to create without connecting it. Okay, so first, settings, connect both Facebooks, connect your Facebook to settings for this next step to work. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to campaigns. Okay, so I'm going on the left to campaigns. And you could do a lot of things in these campaigns. All right, you're able to, if I wanted to, right? So I know some agents who the very beginning of every month go to social posts and they actually create social posts of value, like videos, tidbits of information, again, value added pieces, and they schedule them for the entire month in one day. So today you could sit down for an hour or two, schedule out the entire month of August, set it and forget it, and not think about social media until September. Whole nother class, we're not getting into that, but I want to show you that that's available. Okay. The second thing is right here where it says paid ads. That's where we're going to focus on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on paid ads. Now, in the chat box, Melissa, our operations coordinator here for coaching, she uploaded an amazing document to this. I want to make sure it's not that you can view it, but you can't edit it, so you can't change it. This document is your cheat sheet for what we're about to walk through. So it's literally a checklist on how to build a social media ad. Okay. Let me ask this. Let me open it up. Has anybody on here run an ad before?
Okay,
I have.
I'm getting to that point.
Awesome. Through command?
Yes.
Great. And how was your success?
So the first one was not very good, but then after a couple of them, I actually ended up with several leads that were viable.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And I like that you said the first one weren't that, sometimes we got to practice, find out what's working and not working to really find our niche, especially in our areas in Maryland that we're working in. So I'm going to give you some best practices. You will all learn some best practices today on things that have been proven to work. That does not mean that if each and every one of you ran an ad today that you're guaranteed a certain number of leads, right? We are at the whim of buyers who click on them. But you're going to learn some best practices to have more clicks, potentially. All right. So to create an ad, okay, so again, I'm on paid ads. What we're going to do is we're going to create a campaign. So I'm going to click on create a campaign, and we're going to do social ad paid. Okay, so this is a paid social ad. Now, this part, right, campaign name and information, this is just for you. This is for tracking purposes. This does not affect your ad in any way. The only one exception to that rule is if you have multiple listings that you want to advertise at the same time, you do need to click advertise multiple listings. If you do not have multiple listings, you can click on anything here because it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and click attract buyers. Okay, now down here, I'm going to go ahead and for sake of this class, I'm going to do Facebook, but if I wanted to, I can do Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so you can do ads on both or one or the other. So now we need to name it. Typically, I will enter the name of an address. For sake of today, I'm going to put in test ad. Okay, again, this is just for you. Nobody's seeing this. And I'm going to go ahead and click create. Okay. Does anybody on here have an active listing out there right now?
I wish.
I wish. Okay. So if you don't have
You can do 314 South Patterson Park.
314 South Patterson?
Patterson Park.
Thank you, Jody. Okay, I'm going to use that. When I get to that part, I might ask you that ask you that address again. So if you don't have your own active listings, you can run ads on different things, but what research has shown is that more leads come in when you do a featured listing. So one of the things you're able to do is you can use with written permission. I'll tell you what that means in a second. We have about 350 agents here at Keller Williams Legacy. We have hundreds of listings going live all the time. So you can use agents in our brokerage, not other brokerages. Okay, it has to be Keller Williams Legacy. You can use agents in our brokerage's listings with their permission. And let me, what agent is going to say no to me saying, hey, Jody, congrats. I see you have, 314 Patterson Ave just went live. That's really exciting. Do you mind if I use it to do some marketing? She'll say yes, because what agent doesn't want another person helping to market their property, right? It costs the listing agent nothing. So why would someone say no to that, right? So there is a way in Bright MLS, and I will share how to do this at the very end of this. I'll share it in the chat box, but there's a way in Bright MLS to look up our brokerage's inventory. A great best practice is each week, pull up, I used to do it on Mondays, or actually I did on Sundays. I would pull up what listings went active in the past 5 days. I would find ones that, you know, match the price range I want to kind of hit up, the location that I wouldn't mind working with people in, right? This is your business. So you need to ask yourself those questions. And then I would send a text to all of those agents, and it would be, hey, Jody, I'm an agent here with Keller Williams Legacy. Congrats, saw that you got a listing at Patterson Ave. Would love to market that out as well. Do you mind if I use it for some marketing? She will text me back, go right ahead. I now have written permission to use her listing for an ad. So that's a great way if you're on here like, well, I don't have any listings. That's how you can start an ad today, is by just getting that written permission through text message to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and create an ad. By the way, if you have any questions as I'm going through this, please raise your hand or take yourself off of mute so I can answer them. All right, so think of this, creating an ad. A lot of times people don't take this step to create an ad because they think it's this long, tedious process and they need to be all tech savvy and everything. And what you're gonna learn in just a second is all you need to know how to do is follow a checklist. If you can follow a checklist, you can create an ad today. It is that simple. So we already named our ad. We named it test ad. Now I'm going to add a listing. Okay. Now over here it says only my listings. I do need to change that to all listings. And then I'm looking up, is it 314 Patterson Avenue? Was that it?
314 Patterson Park, South Patterson Park.
Oops. Okay. So there's 314
South Patterson Park.
Now here's the thing, south could be S or it could be south. So if I
It's an
put in,
S.
it's an
Yeah.
S, okay. That is the one thing, you need to make it match whatever MLS says. Okay, so right here you have 314 South Patterson Park. I'm confirming that it is active and who the agent is and making sure it is our agent. And I'm going to select that. Now the system is pulling all the information over from MLS. I'm doing nothing. It's literally pulling from MLS, which makes it so much easier for us.
This is a beautiful listing. Bring all your buyers.
It's a beautiful listing. Bring all your buyers. I love it. All right. So again, we're going down checklist. Checklist number, the number 1, done. Number 2, done. Now we need to put our text. It's automatically pulling text from what this agent put on MLS. What we're going to do is change it. And here's why. These ads are being seen by potential buyers who are sitting on Facebook scrolling. Our objective is to stop the scroll, right? Our objective is to create a quick, getting them to look at it really quickly, to want to click. So if you give someone all the information in the ad, why do they need to click? They don't, so they won't. So we want to take out some of the actual information to make them want to click, because the click is our top priority. That's what we're striving for, right? Also, we want to add in some emojis because people stop scrolling Facebook when they see images, they see emojis, they see videos. Okay, so we're going to add in some verbiage here. So let's see, it's 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage. I'm just getting some verbiage, private courtyard. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put in an emoji of a house. And then I'm going to say oops, can't spell. Hot new listing. So I'll give a little information. 4-bedroom, private courtyard. Jody, tell me one more thing about the listing that would make someone go, wow.
2-car parking, fully renovated.
Okay, 4-bedroom, private courtyard.
park front, 2-car parking, fully renovated.
2-car parking and fully renovated.
Mhm.
Oops. Cannot, okay, come on here. All right, now I'm gonna put in a little fire symbol. Do not miss out. Oops, do not miss out. We'll sell fast. Click to learn more. So click to learn more is what's called a call to action. You're sending a signal to that person's brain who's reading this on what to do next. Okay. Now on the right, if you noticed, it's showing what it's going to look like when that person is scrolling through on their, whether on their computer or on their phone. If you put too many words, it's actually going to cut off the screen. So when they pull it up on their phone, which is where most people scroll, it will have, if I kept typing, it would say, 2-car parking and fully renovated, ... When people see ... they typically will not click on something to read more because it's more work for them. They want things fast. So only put enough words where it does not run off the screen. Okay, that's very important, right? So again, all we're doing here is giving them some sort of wow factor to get them to click. Now, the headline is what's going to appear up top, right? So I'm going to say fully, renovated, hot new, hot new. Am I out of space?
It only lets you do 25.
Oh, fully renovated. So I'll do this. I'm actually going to change that. Hot new listing. Okay. So again, they're seeing this hot new listing. They're like, ooh, hot. What's hot? Let me click on this. Let me see. Right. Now, the description is something that's super small. Nobody reads the description. Nobody who's scrolling, reading now, say nobody. There's probably like 1%, maybe like 0.0001% of people see the description and read it. Most people, what they do is they're scrolling, they see hot new listing, they see the words fully renovated, they see click learn more, they're like, okay, let me click. Again, our objective is to get people to click. So, but you do have to enter something in the description. So click to learn more, or I might say click for more info. Again, another call to action. Okay, let me save this. Each section you do need to save. Okay, so again, this is your checklist. Okay, so now we just did the text. Now we're going to go to media and configure this. Now this is automatically pulling a picture from MLS. I personally want to change it, so I'm going to change the image, and it's going to pull from whatever pictures are on MLS. And again, we want a picture that makes people go, I want to see more, right? So we want something that grabs their attention. Out of all these pictures, honestly, I'm actually going to keep the picture that it has on here because that one says to me as a buyer, I want to see more, let me click, right? Where if I selected this picture, it's a good picture to have on MLS, but stopping the scroll on Facebook, that wouldn't get me to say, wow, I want to see more. Okay. So we have to look at pictures in the eyes of a buyer. So I'm actually going to keep the picture. Now you can add more than one photo. If you have a listing that has, an amazing backyard and this crazy kitchen, right? Maybe you add both of those photos, but never add more than 2. Because again, if you add more than 2 photos, why do they need to click on it? And our whole purpose of an ad is to get people to click. So if you give them more pictures, you're not going to capture their information because you just gave them everything. Right? So I'm just going to keep it at the 1 to entice them. Question in the room? Okay, so question in the room. So the question in the room was, when we're doing pictures, does it go for like on social media? When we do MLS, you want buyers shop with their eyes. You want as many pictures as possible, right? 20 some pictures. You want people to really shop with their eyes to get their interest. Social media ads, a person scrolling Facebook and your ad pops up, you want 1, maybe 2 at max pictures to promote, to give them enough, like create enough, this is interesting. Let me click. What is this? I want more, right? Let me learn more about this. And just if you're putting a listing on just your social media page in general, then you should be putting the link to the entire listing for people to see the whole thing, right? Social media by itself is branding. Social media ads is to capture leads, 2 different platforms. Okay, so right now we're talking about, I'm putting money towards this ad because I want leads to call on for potential buyers and sellers. Yep, did that answer your question? That was a great question. Thank you. Okay, so let me save that. All right, so now going right down the list, I'm going to go to Facebook settings. Okay, now here is where this is so, this section is so crucial. Okay, this is so crucial. Number 1, you can't run an ad if you don't have a Facebook page. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've been in real estate since 2015. I never had a Facebook page. I did everything on my personal site and my Instagram and all of that to build a brand until I started running ads in command. So I went to Facebook one day and I went, okay, let me create a page. Let me put a picture up there. Let me put some information about myself. And my page has nothing else. I haven't been on my page since I created it. Good or bad, right? I haven't been on my page since I created it. I just needed a page to be able to select it. Okay. So you can't do this without a page. Okay. Now, of course, I have my other, the brokerage page here. So I'm going to select that one. Oh, I'm not going to select that one. All right. Let me select my page. I need to look into that. Okay. Now, some of you may go in here, create an ad, run an ad, and at the end of the day, be like, I don't have any leads, right? I know many agents who have run ads and 0 leads come in. What I have found is 90% of the time, if an agent calls me and says, hey, Alana, I just ran an ad after your class. I ran it for 10 days and I have 0 leads. What's happening? I can usually log into their command with them, look at one button and tell them exactly what the reason was. And it's this button right here, destination. If you do not select lead generation form Facebook and you select anything else, you are most likely not to get leads. Okay, so if you want leads, which is the only reason we pay for ads, you have to keep Facebook lead generation form selected 100% of the time. Do not click on site or landing page. Let me repeat, do not click on site or landing page. Did all of you hear that? What are we not clicking on? Site and landing page. You absolutely have to keep it selected on Facebook lead generation form. Okay, so now let me tell you the why behind that. All right, so let's say that Jody on here is, Jody, you're living in New York right now and you're thinking about moving to Maryland. And, she's a buyer. So where do most buyers go? She's looking to move to Maryland. So she's playing on Google. She's going on Zillow. She might be going on Trulia, Realtor.com, all these places buyers go, right? So she's playing online. What's happening out there, just like if you go to Amazon right now, if you go to Amazon and you look up, I don't know, potholders. I have to buy potholders today. If you look up potholders on Amazon and then you go to Facebook, what are you going to see on Facebook? You're going to see ads for anything kitchen related to potholes, because everything, there's a whole ad. I don't know how this works. There are algorithms built in where if you go to Amazon, Facebook reads it. If you go to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Google, Facebook reads it. So if Jody's sitting at home in New York thinking about buying a house in Maryland, okay, and she's on all these different sites, when she goes to Facebook later to play, she's going to see ads. So if I have an ad for Patterson Park and she's looking in Baltimore, my ad is going to show up on her feed, because Facebook is reading her algorithm of where she went to do all these searches. In her phone and her computer, okay, in all of ours, by the way, scary thing, all of our information is saved. Your phone number, your email address, all your information is saved out there. So when Jody clicks on the Facebook ad, right, she's like, oh, look at this hot listing in Baltimore. I am thinking about moving to Maryland. What is this? Let me click on it. As soon as she clicks it on her Facebook feed, a tiny little box is going to pop up with all of her information auto-populated and the word next. So it sends a signal to her going, oh, okay, I want to see the pictures. Let me just click the next button. The second she clicks next, all of her information automatically gets sent to you as a text message and puts it in your command automatically as a lead. So everything is auto-generated and the buyer does not have to manually type in information to see the listing. When you force a person to type in their information, they are more likely not to do it, because people don't want people having their information. That is why this Facebook lead generation form is so crucial. Okay, that was your little lesson on Facebook and how that all works. So let's move on to the next button here. So button label, keep it on learn more. That's all you're looking to do. Okay, website URL. You can do two things here. If you have a website or a team website, you can put that there. Okay, so I can put in alana.kw.com. That's my website. Or you can create, and I'll show you that at the very end of this, you can create a customizable landing page just for your listing. I personally like creating customizable landing pages for each ad that I do. By the way, creating a landing page takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The first time you do it, it might take you 15 minutes because you're learning. But after you do one, you're gonna be like, oh my God, really? That's it? It takes 5 minutes. So depending on time, I will show you, I will put the link on how to do that in the chat box, and I will show you how if we have time. Or if you're really trying to boost your website, you can put your website in here. Either one is fine, because again, you already, by the time they click on the ad on Facebook, when they click on it, it's going to shoot them to your website or shoot them to a landing page, depending on what you put in here. Okay. When they click on it, you have their information. What you want to go to, what you want them to go to is completely up to you. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll down. Another really important button is this right here. Use custom settings. Turn it on. Okay. You want to use custom settings to target audiences. So right now I'm targeting audiences in the Baltimore area, meaning people looking at things in Baltimore and within a radius. Now you can change the radius, you know, if I want to make the radius 25 miles surrounding Baltimore, I can. that you can kind of play around with. I usually do 25. That's just my personal preference. I haven't really played around too much from that. Okay. All right. So now here's where it gets fun. Okay. Right here where it says add interests. This is where the fun part comes. This is how the targeting works. So I'm going to put in, which by the way, there are example interests in the attachment. Oops, let me give you one of these. So there are example interests in the attachment on the chat channel. Melissa, if you're on here, if you can put that attachment in there again, that would be great. Just make sure it's not editable. I don't want people to be able to edit this. All right. So some of the interests, where do people search? Buyers are going to Zillow, right? So I'm going to click on Zillow. Buyers are going to realtor.com. So if you sit there and think, where are buyers? If Jody's sitting in New York and she's playing on Google, where is she going? What's she clicking on, right? She might be looking up mortgage calculators. Okay, so mortgage loans, mortgage calculator. Let's see, what else might she be looking up? Let me go to my cheat sheet here. I'll go to Trulia. Right. So you can really put in as many as you want, maybe house hunting. Okay. By the way, if you're working with an investment property, you can put in investor, investments, things related to that, right? Maybe she's a first-time home buyer, but we don't know, right? So if this is if it's a property where it's kind of a, one of those starter type homes, it's in that price range, you might want to look up, anybody searching for that. Let's say, what else? Maybe I'll do one more. I'll do the word homes. All right, so I'm going to save that. What this means is I am now targeting, okay, people who are out there searching in any of these aspects, any of these words, right? I'm going to save it. Okay. Yep, so this is, yeah, so the question is, so this is targeting on this particular property. What this is actually targeting is people who are looking for homes online in the Baltimore area within a 25-mile radius, okay, who are playing on Google, Zillow, Trulia, I forget which ones I put in there. When they then go to Facebook, this ad will come up, okay? So I'm only doing a Facebook ad right now, but I could do Facebook and Instagram, right? Yeah, in the very beginning, you missed the very beginning of this when you create an ad. So the question though is, we think we do it on Facebook and Instagram. You can do this ad on both. So when you create an ad in the very beginning, you missed that part. You can select where you want to put it. Yep, you can, yeah, yep. So I'm going to go to lead settings now. Again, this is a checklist. We're just working through it. Okay. All right. This is brand new for anybody on air who has ran an ad in the past and has not done one in the past few weeks. This is the hot new button on here. That is a game changer. Let me show you this, and I'm going to say it with emphasis. You're going to hear my passion, because here's why. If you run an ad and you don't have a smart plan, you don't have something set up to automatically send them a text, automatically remind you to call them, automatically send them emails, you are going to miss out on tons of business, and you might as well just put the money in the trash or just hand it to somebody else. Ads are only as good as our follow-up, because on average, 90% of people who click on ads are ready in the next 6 to 9 months. If you run ads and you have, let's say I run 4 ads this week. You can run as many ads as you want. Let's say I run 4 different ads on 4 different listings this week. And I'm going to use a basic number for math right now. Let's say out of all those ads, I get a total of 100 leads. Out of 100 of those leads, a max of 10%. That's max, okay? That's like a great day. Okay, it's usually 5%. A max of 10% will be ready within the next 3 months, meaning they're ready now. The majority of them, 90% of them, are not going to be ready for 6 to 9 months, if not later. Okay. True story. There was an agent last year. You know, we all went on lockdown, right? We had a tough year. One of the agents I coached, her entire business was built on networking. So when March happened in 2020, she took a very big hit because everything was her getting out and about and meeting people. So she had to revamp her entire way of doing business because that was her whole business. So she sat down in the month of March of last year and she said, I don't know what to do. I said, okay, well, why don't we just start running ads, get you some leads, right? So she started running 2 ads a week. For each ad, she kind of, each ad, she probably threw about $30 to them, right? Nothing crazy. So she ran 2 featured listing ads per week from March to July. March, she captured leads, she talked to people, she had great conversations, no business from it. April, captured leads, had great conversations, no business from it. She's building her pipeline. Fast forward to the end of June. The end of June, she had every system in place where she had her follow-up game on point. So the people who came through on ads in March and April started hitting in June and July. And that's where all of a sudden she started every week getting buyers and sellers from the ads from March and April. Okay. So what has recently been built in is a way to set this up automatically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto tag this as Facebook ad. So I'm telling the system when a lead comes in, I want a tag placed on it called Facebook ad so I can sort that, right? I can filter. Now, by the way, you can create as many tags as you want. I can create tags on lists. I can create tags on addresses. So if I wanted it to be Facebook ad, Patterson Park, I could totally do that. Now, I also want to create, I have a lot of smart plans in my library, also known as drip campaigns. So I have one called Facebook, and I also have one called 10 Days of Gain, also known as 10 Days of Pain. What this means is when somebody, okay, so if all of a sudden Danny is scrolling tonight on Facebook and she sees Patterson Park and she clicks on it, the second she clicks, her information is now captured in command for me. I am getting notified of that, so I can immediately speed to lead, pick up the phone and call her, but she's immediately going to get a text message because my smart plan is set up that way. She's going to get a text message within a few seconds of her clicking on that ad on Facebook, right? Saying, hey, thanks so much for checking out one of our homes on Facebook. I don't have mine tailored to the address because I personally don't like to constantly go in there and having to change it. So I just say, thanks for clicking on one of our listings on Facebook or one of our new homes on Facebook with a few questions in there. There is an example of the verbiage and the 10 Days of Pain on the attachment in the chat box. And for you in the room, that on there. So you have the example of what mine looks like on your ads or on your cheat sheet. Okay. So I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to go to duration. How long do I want this run? You cannot run an ad same day because Facebook has to approve it. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So if you're like, oh my God, I have an open house on Saturday, let me run an ad and it's Saturday morning or Friday night, you can't run an ad on an open house in less than 24 hours because it won't get published. Okay, Facebook has to approve them, which can take anywhere from 2 hours up to 24 hours. It's typically about 12 to 24 hours. So I'm going to say, today is the 3rd. I'm going to start my ad on the 5th. And I personally like to run ads for 10 days. You can play around with that. What market research has shown is 10 days is like kind of the 8 to 10 days is the sweet spot. More than 10 days, you're not really going to get anything more from it. So it's kind of a waste of money and time. But again, you can play with it. And then saying, how much do I want to put on it? I'll throw $30 to it. Again, play with this. Your very first ad you do, put $25 to $30 to it, because at the end of the day, if you don't get leads and something happens, you mess up, you know, it's a 1-day lunch that you just spent, right? It's your learning curve, right? We're not putting $100 to it. There is a team in New Orleans. They run social media ads at a very high basis. They run about 10 a week. They put a few $100s to it per week, but they have perfected their craft and they get hundreds of leads per week from them. Okay, start small, work up to that. Okay, now I'm going to click save. Oops, let me close this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Now up here, if I click publish, it's going to ask me for my credit card and then ask me to publish. I'm going to say yes and be done. And then it will publish within 24 hours. Facebook has to approve it. If it doesn't publish within 24 hours, that means something is typically, something typically needs to be changed in your verbiage in your listing. Facebook will deny publishing your campaigns if any of your verbiage, right, verbiage is against Fair Housing Act. If I put the word family in here, it will not get published. If I put the word master bedroom, it will most likely not get published. If I put a name, by the way, you can say great school districts, but you can't name a school. It will not get published. Okay. This is not Command. This is not Keller Williams. This is Fair Housing Act through Facebook. All right. So if within 24 hours your ad did not get published, look at your verbiage and tweak it. It's something in there. All right. I'm going to stop there. Let me go to the chat box, see if there's any questions. Okay. Okay. Raise your hand, put your thumbs up, or take yourself off mute if you found that easier than what you expected. Ooh, thank you, Jody. Most people do, by the way. Most people don't run ads because they think it's really complicated. It's just a checklist. That's literally what this is. You're just working through a checklist. Now, we do have a few minutes left, so I'm going to show you. Let me just check Chacker. Can we still change a campaign after we publish it? Yes, great question. Thank you. After a campaign is published, let me actually go back to, I'm going to actually save this. Jody, I'm recording right now. Do I have permission to run a campaign on this?
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much. So I'm actually going to go back in later today and publish this campaign. Okay. So anything that is being run, we can duplicate it, and then obviously this says completed, but if this was saying active, I can go in here and it will say edit, and you can edit it. You can pause them, you can edit them, you can duplicate them, you can stop them. You have, it is your campaign. You can do whatever you need to, right? Great question. How can I tweak this for a listing I have to get more listings? Another good question. So you can absolutely, while a lot of the leads you're getting right now are buyers, here's the thing. I just created an ad on a listing that's in the 600,000 range. Do you think, knowing real estate, most buyers looking at a house in the $600,000 range are currently renting or owning? What's your guess?
Own.
Own. Why do you say that? You're absolutely right. Why do you say that?
Because rent for a house of that price point would be ridiculous.
Yep. So if you think about the market, right? When we think about, we really studying the market is so crucial, right? So we think about renters. Typically people renting right now, they could be paying anywhere from, who's ready to buy a house. Maybe they're paying $1,200, $1,800, maybe $2,100 or $2,500. So they're looking at houses in the range of $250, $300, $350, maybe $400. If I want to capture listings, I might publish an ad at a house at $450, $500, $600, maybe $700, because most likely they're looking for that next house and they probably have a house to sell, right? There are other ways to run ads. You can do videos and ads to capture listings. I haven't tried it myself yet, but I have seen an agent do a video of the housing market and the hot sellers market out there right now and capturing multiple offers. And it's a quick 30-second video because nobody has time to watch anything longer. It's a quick 30 to 45-second video providing a wow factor about the seller's market we're in to run an ad on that to try to capture sellers. I personally haven't tried it to see what it produces. But again, this is the fun thing about the system. Throw it out there, try it, put 25, 30 bucks to it. Worst case scenario is you get one lead or none. Now you can tweak it. You can play with it. What's happening, right? This is your system. Play with it. Try it out. All right, let me check the chat box. Okay, so I'm going to show you really quickly how to create a landing page. So I'm going to go down here. I'm in command. I'm going to go to consumer. Okay. I'm going to click landing page. Oops, let me turn that off. Okay. Now in here, I'm going to click create a new page. I want to do a landing page. Create. I'm going to name it. And I'm going to name it 314 South Patterson Park. Okay. Now I want to add to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to put a branded header. So I'm just going to, what I'm doing is I'm clicking and I'm dragging and dropping. I want to do the listing. So I'm dragging and dropping. I'm going to configure this in a minute. Okay. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom. I'm going to do a market snap. So I'm going to drag that to the bottom. I want to do, while they're not going to use this because you've already captured their information, I'll throw it in here. I'm going to drag and drop a lead form. I'm going to now do, which by the way, as you can see, I'm just picking things. I'm going to do agent branding at the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to configure this. So I'm going to click on configure, branded header, hot new listing, right? My headshot's in there. All my information's in there. I want my number for them to call me. I'm going to save. Now I'm going to move. I'm going to put the listing in. Now watch this. 314 South Patterson Park. Search, select. Everything moves a little slower on Zoom. I'm going to click save and apply. Bam, pulled right from the MLS. I don't need to do anything. I'm going to click next. What do I want my header to be for? Jody, what's the neighborhood called? Is it just called Patterson Park?
Patterson Park, yeah.
That's how much I know about Baltimore. What's the zip code?
You would ask me that.
Questions.
21231, sorry.
So 21231. All right, Patterson Place. I'll just click something for now. Okay, I'm gonna go next. I'm not changing anything here. I'm gonna go next. All right, has everything on here. I'm not changing anything, although I'm gonna change that to my number. I'm gonna click save and apply. I'm gonna click publish. Yes. Okay, ready for this? Now I'm gonna go to my landing pages. I'm gonna click on it. I now have a landing page. I create a website, a landing website page just for Patterson Park. It now has a link, and that took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Bam. Okay. So now if I wanted to, I can take this. I can go back to my campaign, paid ads. Okay, I'm going to go into my draft that I created and edit it. I'm going to go to where I put in website URL. I want to take that out and I want to choose a landing page. I'm going to, anytime you make a change, do not forget to click save or it will not save automatically. Okay. Now I'm going to save this as a draft because I'm not going to publish it until a little later because I want to make a few adjustments to my Facebook site. Yes, I want to save this. Social ad campaign done, landing page done and connected to it. I'm going to click publish this afternoon. It's going to go active within 24 hours. Okay, because I have no, I don't think I have any words on here that aren't approved by Facebook. And then I will report back to everybody on what type of leads I get. Okay. And all of that, even when training, obviously that took less than an hour. When you actually get in the habit of doing this and you do a few, building a landing page will take you about 5 minutes. Building a Facebook ad, not your first time. The first time is going to take you a little bit. But after you get used to it, you should be able to build one in about 15 minutes. Right? After learning it. Yep. And practicing. As you can see, I have not only done a bunch of drafts to practice, but I've run a bunch of ads. Just so you know, look at this. Like here's an ad I ran back in the day. I got 22 leads off of it. And these leads are full names, email addresses, and phone numbers. So open it up. We have about 1 minute left. Any questions? Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Who is going to run an ad this week? We have a hand in the room. Garens, I see you. You said, I will. Leah, yep, I love it. Alexander, I love it. All right. If you get stuck, if you're in there, please don't just throw it out the window and say, I'm never doing this. Reach out to me. Let me help you. These ads are such a game changer. It is where so many agents are succeeding in their business as long as you have follow-up in place. That's the key. If you need help, please reach out. I will definitely, let me help you. I love putting these together. All right, guys, make it a great day and go capture some business.